This is chapter 30, CJ Sciutto. Mom still hasn't found a shelter for us to stay at. There just aren't that many of them around, CJ, she explains. She acts as if it's a minor inconvenience, like traffic or spotty Wi-Fi, and I reply, "Yeah, Mom, no biggie." But I can tell that it's really stressing her out, and that goes double for me. We've been at this all afternoon, and she's contacting places that are farther and farther away. What if it turns out that there's nowhere for us to go? It's torture to watch her on the phone, getting passed along from hold to hold. And plus, every time the call waiting beeps, Marcus trying to bust in, her whole body stiffens. The guys are creeping me out too. I appreciate the support, but why can't they stop looking at me? Okay, the fort isn't exactly a palace, so I guess there aren't a lot of options for your attention. At least Evan and Ricky have the sense to avoid my gaze some of the time, but Mitchell is just plain staring. Having your deepest secret ripped open for the whole world to see is awful, but now I'm kind of glad it happened. Once you get over the horror and the embarrassment, it's a huge relief. Keeping something like that quiet is agony. It's like you're an actor in a role, and your whole life depends on never slipping out of character. Not only couldn't I tell my friends what Marcus was doing to me, I couldn't even say anything about the real reason he bought me new phones and game consoles and skateboards. The hardest part was keeping my mouth shut when they raved about how lucky I was to have such an amazing, generous stepdad. That was rough. I have to admit that the guys are really coming through for me, including Ricky. They can't make my problems disappear, but just showing up means a lot. Evan has been especially great. He let me know that I'm not alone in dealing with stuff that no kid should ever have to deal with. He doesn't mention his own parents, but I can tell that that's what he's thinking about. A wild notion occurs to me. How would Bennett Delamere react if he could somehow see the collection of people skulking in his bomb shelter right now? We're definitely not what he had in mind when he built this place to ride out World War III. But in another way, we're using it for exactly the purpose he designed it, to hide from an outside enemy. There's a crash from above as the trapdoor is wrenched open. "What is this place?" bellows an all too familiar voice. Marcus falls rather than climbs down the ladder, but he's so strong that he lands on his feet and wheels on us, his iPhone still clutched in his meaty fist. He's a huge man to begin with, and in the cramped space of the fort, he looks twice the size. The guys involuntarily back up a step. They've never seen the real Marcus, the grizzly bear unleashed. And what does he say, this monster, this apex predator who has cornered us under the ground? "Evelyn, thank God I could track your phone. I've been worried sick." My insides turned to ice. I was so careful to turn off the location function on my own phone. Why didn't I think to do that on Mom's? How could I be so brainless? I've ruined us. The apex predator pulls me into his arms as if he's just found his long-lost child. "I was afraid I'd never see you again, CJ." The guys are bug-eyed. They must be wondering why we're running away from this loving husband and father. And then I remember, they know the truth, and they believe the truth. I shove Marcus away with all my might. "Leave us alone!" Marcus backs off, looking shocked. "How could you say that to me? Haven't I always been a good father to you?" I swear, I'm so blown away by the question that I almost laugh in his face. And then I remind myself that this is Marcus, and nothing is funny about Marcus. And I recall in a quick-cut movie montage every mark he ever put on me. I re-experience the impact of the blows and the open-handed slaps that struck me. I feel the torque of all those times he manhandled me or twisted my arm. I relive the dread of lying in the dark, knowing what's coming. and the thought of him terrorizing my mother fills me with a rage so blind and unthinking that all I can do is fly at him, fists flailing. In the heat of the moment, I'm too mad to realize that I have no chance against Godzilla, who could crush me like a bug. Luckily, the guys have more brains than I do. Moving almost as a unit, they catch me and pull me back from attacking my stepfather. I struggle against them, bellowing, "Let me go!" And they hang on, keeping me from my suicide mission. "Chill out, man," Evan hisses in my ear. And then, like someone flipped the channel on a TV, Marcus is a different person. The emotional family man changes behind a face that is darkening into red and even purple. His eyes narrow with fury, and he seems to grow until he fills every corner of the fort, trapping us at his mercy. My friends have never seen this version of Marcus, but Mom sure has. She jumps up and stands in front of me. "Marcus, he didn't mean..." And he reaches out with one powerful arm and sweeps her aside as easily as clearing a cobweb. It sends her sprawling, the weight of her body smashing the plexiglass cover on the turntable in the old-fashioned record player. The roar that comes from Marcus would fill a 20,000-seat arena, much less a tiny underground hangout. "I'll make you wish you were never born," he rasps, reaching for me.